looks like the girls are lined up, getting ready to skate.
Right on time, even early. Nice job, everybody.
Waiting for the signals from the officials, and we'll get this last bout started.
Hello?
Check.
Check. Check.
And we have Moonraker out there for Wasatch. And there's the whistle. This bout has begun. Both girls forcing their way through. It looks like Moonraker's first. Moonraker, your lead.
Welcome, everybody who's listening in Derbyland. I am Fragopus, joined by...
That was Skullcandy up there in front, blocking her out.
whitish gray tops. Yeah, we're already underway here. First jam just got finished. Looks like Moonraker picked up 4 points for Wasatch before calling off that jam. That sounds about right. Wasatch at number 20. So it should be a good bout here. It's been a great day of bouts thus far, and good closer right here. We have Harry Slaughter out there jamming for Wasatch. Yeah, one of the Sacred City blockers starting out this jam in the penalty box, so Wasatch with the one blocker advantage. She picks up lead jammer status. Looks like Harry Slaughter made her way through first, but pulled one of those no pass, no penalty. Did not pick up lead jammer status. I believe that should be current. Moonraker picked up 4 points for Wasatch in the first jam. Sacred City still working on picking up those first points. And that is Buns Bunny jamming for Wasatch. Definitely very low out there. Buns Bunny also made that initial pass, kind of scrolls through the middle of two Sacred City blockers. Ha! I see what you did there. That's pretty clever. Good work. Good way to start off the bout. Looks like Moonraker's jamming for Wasatch in the blue. That was some great jamming skills there. Those Wasatch blockers tried to stop her, tried to slow her down. She was able to get through it. She's now on her scoring pass. Sacred City up to 9 points now. Wasatch still at 4. We have just over 26 minutes left in the first half. Welcome back, HP.
Hey, so there's some derby going on, Fragopus. I'm pretty excited.
Feel like I've been talking to myself for the last while here.
That's weird. Number 45 out there for Sacred City is Colt 45, and she powers her way through that last two wall of Wasatch defenders.
Does a good job, picks up lead jammer status. We have Skull Candy jamming for Wasatch, and still working on that initial pass. It's kind of stuck behind that wall of gray. Just Sacred City really walled up well, playing some great defense.
Both teams really came to play defense tonight so far. I'm sure they're transitioning back and forth, but Colt 45 now recycled clear to the back of the pack. She has to reset and come in again.
Very impressive blocking there by Wasatch, sending her to the back of the pack. However, she is on that scoring pass where Skull Candy for Wasatch has just barely completed her initial pass.
Skull Candy I caught 2 Spud Towns ago, and she just ripped it up. She just about jammed every other jam during that tournament.
Yeah, Skull Candy definitely one of the veteran jammers for Wasatch, and one of the reasons why Wasatch is so great.
All right, so early, it looks like we've got Wasatch 4, Sacred City 12, with 24-37 in this one, Fragglepuss, and it's been a rocking time so far. This whole first day has been crazy, actually. I got here for the first one at 2:30. Sicktown skated it out, and they were against Slaughter County, and that was back and forth. And then I just came in from the other track, and Cherry City and Lava City battled it out, and that was 5 or 7 points in the final. So it's been really close bouts, really competitive today.
It's definitely been a great day at Derby. I was watching the Arizona Roller Derby versus Sin City, and it was just neck and neck right up until the very end when Sin City pulled away. But great Derby so far today.
So it looks like our lead jammer is not Forecloser. Forecloser taking the time to make sure that her hat is on just right with that star in the crux placement.
Harry Slaughter, the lead jammer for Wasatch, hitting the pack, calling off the jam. We wait for it. 3 points, looks like, picked up by Harry Slaughter and Wasatch.
Harry Slaughter, you know her, right? You might have seen her in like some local stuff.
Yeah, Harry Slaughter, I know her a little bit. I, knew her so well that I kind of married her. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
that would qualify as knowing someone pretty well.
Yeah, she's not too bad.
Get back to the line. It looks like Sacred City's calling on number 53. That's Daddy's Girl.
And we have Moonraker jamming for Wasatch. Wasatch at 7 points. Sacred City in the gray with 12 points.
Both teams playing very strong in the pack so far. It looks like trying to get out of the pack is Daddy's Girl. It was very close. I'm still not sure who our lead jammer is as they go into turn 3.
It looks like Moonraker's the lead jammer, but both those jammers neck and neck. Oh, and how do you like that?
Daddy's Girl going to the box, and I didn't quite catch the call. But right now on the power jam is Wasatch. Great opportunity to put some points on the board.
5 points on the board, a grand slam for Moonraker and Wasatch. That's going to bring us up to a 12-12 tied score.
So if you're watching at home, and we hope you are, it's time to take a sip of whatever your favorite beverage is. All tied up, and that's a 5-point pass from Moonraker, and that extends Wasatch to be out with a 5-point lead.
5-point lead for Wasatch. Another 5 points. I believe that's 15 points on the jam for Wasatch and Moonraker. Those power jams, HP, they can make or break your game.
Right now, Sacred City walling up with a 3-wall, trying to drive Moonraker right out of bounds, but she's tenacious. She comes back in on one skate and gets through for another 5-point pass.
Moonraker definitely tenacious, just a lot of fight in her. The fire in her belly. She just wants to keep on skating, just non-stop.
Speaking of fiery, it looks like Skull Candy getting ready to come back on the track. And you saw on the last jam, the coaches for Wasatch jumping up and down. They definitely wanted that jam called off. No mistakes going to be made over on that sideline.
Yeah, a lot of pack awareness. Good pack awareness by those Wasatch jammers. Picking up 1-2 extra points in the jams.
So we get the action started here, and it looks like we might have someone come out of the box. I believe what happened is number 53, so that's Daddy's Girl, coming back into play, and all walled up in the back is Wasatch in a 4-wall, looking pretty fearsome out there. Meanwhile, Skull Candy taking it to him. She's out for lead jammer. Probably going to pick up some points here on this next pass.
Yeah, and Sacred City making that initial pass. While Skull Candy's in the pack, kind of weaves along that outside of the turn.
that hole on the outside was maybe 2 inches wide, and she got right by Axel Breaker with a really nice juke to pick up some points.
And it looks like with 20 minutes and about 30 seconds in the first half, we have Wasatch with 30 points, Sacred City with 12. Now, Sacred City's been at 12 points for a couple jams now, as Wasatch has kind of picked up points, starting with that power jam.
What is the color considered for Wasatch's top? Is that like a midnight kind of thing? I know they use midnight in their name, don't they?
Yeah, their all-star team is the Midnight Terror. So the blue could be a midnight blue, maybe?
There you go.
Yeah, let's go with that.
And then gray tops for Sacred City. And speaking of that, great block laid down there by Axel Breaker.
Buns Bunny breaking through the pack, got knocked to the inside out of bounds, but the blocker that knocked her out got sent to the box, and so went back in bounds. No pass, no penalty. Still on that scoring pass.
Jammer on jammer right now is both skaters staying nice and low. You can see that they might have maybe a speed skating background, the way they're staying tight and low. Really cutting that draft as they go through.
Definitely staying tight and low. A lot of penalties being assessed. Full penalty box, 2 blockers for each team, and one of the Wasatch blockers getting waved off the penalty box. There's just too many penalties being assessed in that last jam.
I'm going to check out the score real quick here. We'll see what's going on. All right, so we've got 16 for Sacred City, 35 for Wasatch, with 19:05 left in this first half, and it's been very high energy. Lots of very strong pack play so far, and of course, power jam's always the wild card, right?
Definitely the wild card. Those power jams, penalties in general. But as it stands now, we have a bit of a micro pack. Only 2 blockers for each team out there on the track.
And grabbing that lead jammer is number 44. That's the 4 closer who just shot out of the pack.
Very impressive jamming. Moonraker jamming for Wasatch through the pack on that initial pass.
That's a 4-point pass for 4 closer as she makes her way through, eyeballs the pack, and calls it off right before Moonraker can actually hit the back of that pack.
Now, HP, we're seeing a bit of back and forth here. We saw Sacred take an early lead, pick up a bunch of points, and then they went on a bit of a drought as Wasatch picked up a bunch of points, starting with that power jam. And now it's kind of back to Sacred, where a couple jams in a row, they're the ones picking up lead jammer status and picking up a few more points.
Lined up in Skull Candy for Wasatch.
All right, so we just want to remind everyone about what the score is right now. So we've got Sacred City 20, Wasatch 35 as we get this jam started. And it looks like number 53 out there for Sacred City is Daddy's Girl.
Daddy's Girl lead jammer for Sacred. We have Skull Candy jamming for Wasatch, completing her initial pass.
And right now there's a 2-wall of Wasatch defenders out in front. And getting through is Daddy's Girl, and I believe that was a 4-point pass that she picked up there.
Yes, Sacred City picking up a couple points there. Wasatch at 35 points, Sacred City at 24. 17 minutes and a couple seconds left in this first half of gameplay.
And in case you didn't catch it before, Midnight Blue, we're calling it Midnight Blue, is Wasatch. Our gray tops are Sacred City. Sacred City, not too long ago, won the Dust Devil. And so that was pretty impressive. They also had a big loss earlier in the year against Angel City. So kind of up and down to start the season for Sacred City.
Yeah, Wasatch has played a couple games this season. They beat Sin City, beat Tucson, then they played Rose City recently and got defeated. But both these teams we saw in the West Region playoffs last year, and both teams made a good showing. And so it's great to see them going head-to-head right now.
And getting through for a 5-point pass was Colt 45 for Sacred City. She continues to try to add to that. She's past the last line of defense, and that's 5 more points or 10 on the jam.
We have Harry Slaughter jamming for Wasatch, still working on that initial pass.
She might have a skate issue. Is that a gear issue?
I'm not sure what's going on. Might be a gear issue, or it might be a...
It looks like wheels. It looks like maybe a truck. It might be a broken truck out there.
Looks like her truck is broken. Definitely unable to skate. You can see the crookedness of it. There's not much you can do about that when you get an equipment malfunction like that.
while that's happening, we have 5 points picked up for Sacred City by Colt 45, and really an opportunity for them to close the gap, which is what happened here. We've got Wasatch 35, Sacred City 39, 15-25 here in this first half. And we super appreciate all the technicians that are helping us to stay on the money right now, Fragglepuss.
Definitely like to see that. So, yeah, Sacred City really feasting on that last jam. So, Sacred City at 44 points, Wasatch at 35, about halfway through the first half, 15 minutes to go.
We've got a full weekend of Derby here, so we're just about done with day one. We've got juniors. We've got skaters from several continents here. Victorian Derby all the way from Australia. We also have Southern Discomfort here from, I believe it's London. I'm going to go out on a limb and say London, but definitely the English sort of area, Fragglepuss.
Yes, definitely coming in Southern Discomfort there. We have teams from all over, which is great to see. It's great to see this collaboration of so many leagues from all over the world, really, competing just at this high level of roller derby.
Not to be overlooked, of course, we have our Canadian friends from the north who are making their presence felt here. I believe Terminal City is in this for sure. And then I guess there's a lot of American teams, which is kind of unexpected, you know?
Yeah, as usual. A lot of American leagues in general, so you're bound to see a lot of them.
Let's see. Tomorrow, our first bout will be I-5 versus Kitsap. So that's going to be the juniors to start things off tomorrow morning. And that should be a good way to kind of get the energy flowing first things. Those kids are usually pretty punchy, and they can really give you a shot in the arm if you haven't had your coffee yet.
That is true. We have, as you mentioned, 9 o'clock. We start off tomorrow. We started off today at 2:30, and it's been great to see all this derby. But, tomorrow we start off at 9 o'clock, and we're going until 8:45 again, 8:45 p.m. And then Sunday, once again, start off at 9 o'clock, and we go to 6:30. Well, more like 5:45. Looks like 6:30 is a scrimmage, which they won't be broadcasting. But, 5:45 the last bout on Sunday. We'll get to see a Victorian go up against Wasatch. So Wasatch playing right now in the blue, going up against the Australian Victorian roller derby.
Victorian, a top 40 team, so if everything remains the same, we'll see them in postseason play, which is exciting. Obviously, a little too early to say, but that would be exciting if that happened. One of the 4 Division I tournaments they could possibly make an appearance in. I believe tonight they are in Rose City, and I'm not sure if that's maybe a Waj bout. Well,
I think it is. I'm not positive on that, but we could get our best sources on that.
I would say either Waj or Axles of Annihilation. How's that? Either the A or B team for Rose. I feel that's safe.
That is a very good assumption.
And we've got a little bit of a timeout right now. It looks like an official timeout. So they're waiting to kind of unwire things, which is a good time to. Apparently if we don't hit the computer periodically, it'll go to sleep on us. It's like my dog, Fragglepuss.
It's kind of like me.
Oh, you too, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I can hit both of you at the same time if that'll kind of keep things flowing.
Like to give a special shout out to Candyman. Thank you very much. Says we sound good. I'm not sure if I agree with him, but we sound like something.
There is sound. We're making it.
We're making sound, that is for sure.
Some great bouts coming up tomorrow. It looks like going along with that junior theme. Track 2 should have a lot of junior action tomorrow. So I-5 versus Slaughter County's juniors, and then Slaughter County's juniors against Lava at 11:30, and then at 1:45 it'll be I-5 against Emerald City's junior skaters. And so the action will be non-stop on Track 2. Track 2 is one of the ones that is live streaming, so if you're out there in TV land, and we hope you are, then you'll be able to tune in courtesy of our friends at DNN and check out the action.
That'll be great. If I wasn't here, I would be watching here.
I think the tagline last year was the Big O, everyone's coming. Apparently they were right.
Everyone is definitely here. Everyone has came to the Big O. You know, it's my first year at the Big O. I was not here last year, but I watched the bouts. They were great bouts. This year is not disappointed. First day almost done, almost down in the record books, and it's been great.
This is my third bout today, and I think the largest score differential has been about 10 points, which is crazy. Crazy, like insane.
There's definitely been a lot of close bouts. This one is 15 minutes in. Oh, hold on.
All right, they're continuing to kind of talk things through.
It looks like Wasatch's Harry Slaughter is being expelled from the game due to an illegal star pass and then removing herself from the track and then returning to the track.
I guess what they wanted her to do was go out of play and then stay out of play. Maybe they're considering it a hazard.
Interesting.
So 35 Wasatch, and they are in blue. Sacred City at 44, they are in gray. Just under 15 minutes remaining in this first half. And it's been back and forth, some momentum swings so far. Most recently we had a broken truck, which has caused a little bit of a delay and a long conference from our officials team. We super appreciate them taking the time to sort it out. But the result appears to be one skater going promoted to fan a little bit early in this one, maybe.
Yeah, definitely an early time to get expelled from the game. Only 15 minutes in.
I usually like promotions, but this might be one of those times when a fan promotion not so exciting. We have a really good crowd here for this bout, actually. Probably one of the most watched so far this evening. And they're kind of off to our left. I don't know if everyone can see them at home, but we also have some horns or something in there. I don't know, is like a ska band going on or something, Fragglepuss?
Sounds like some vuvuzelas have made their way from the soccer arena into the Lane Event Center here. Are we? Yeah, we still have this timeout going on. We're about 7 minutes in.
And I see a couple of Cherry City Derby girls in the stands right now, so super excited to see them. I don't know if I got a chance to tell you before, but apparently there's going to be a Division I tournament in Cherry City end of September. That last weekend, it'll be the only Division I tournament west of the Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
So if you're looking for something to do end of September, Fragglepuss, love to see you about an hour up the road from here.
I'll definitely be looking into that. That's great news for Cherry City. We're back underway here. We have Wasatch's Jammer starting off in the penalty box.
And it looks like number 44 is the forecloser for Sacred City. She grabs that lead jammer spot. And she really powered through on that first pass. She's setting up again, Fragglepuss, and it looks like she's got a little space to work right now. She gets through for 5 in the sky.
Yeah, and we have Wasatch skaters just going off to the penalty box. Only 2 blockers left on the track for Wasatch. 2 blockers and the jammer, more importantly, in the box.
Very narrow pack, and she jukes her way left and right and gets through for 5. The forecloser putting up some points for Sacred City.
Calling off the jam, the Wasatch jammer, Colonel Skirts, who I believe is serving time, being that Harry Slaughter was expelled from the game. Colonel Skirts being the captain, serving the penalty for Harry Slaughter.
That's leadership right there when you're doing the time for someone else, right?
Pay the crime, and someone else is doing the time. We have Sacred City at 54 points, Wasatch at 35. It's definitely been all Sacred City these last couple jams.
Yeah, right now out on the line we have number 53. That's Daddy's Girl for Sacred City. and she gets past the last line of defense for lead jammer. A lot of athleticism from all of the jammers so far in this one.
Yeah, Colonel Skirt's out of the penalty box and jamming for Wasatch. Not often you see her jamming. She's normally one of Wasatch's stronger blockers.
And it looks like that was a 4-point pass. So that's going to take our score to 35 Wasatch, 58 Sacred City, and we're just inside of 13 minutes left in the first half.
For those of you just joining us, we have Wasatch in the midnight blue and Sacred City in the gray.
I believe it's the Sacrificers. The Sacrificers against the Midnight Terror. That'll keep you up at night.
Most definitely. Looks like we have Skull Candy jamming for Wasatch.
And it looks like number 45 is Colt 45 for Sacred City. And it looks like we got a cutting the track major on Colt 45. She's going to go to the box, and that'll put Wasatch on the power jam.
And now from what I saw, granted it's on the other side of the track, but it looked like Wasatch's jammer Skull Candy knocked out Forecloser, went back. Forecloser went in front, cut the track. Great maneuver, great awareness by Skull Candy there.
We talked a little bit about Skull Candy before, but I'm convinced that she's part cybernetic. She got through again for 5 points. It seems like she can go just about every jam on the jammer line. She's a beast.
Yeah, Skull Candy and really the Wasatch team in general kind of pride themselves on having a lot of endurance to be able to continue to play so that anybody can keep going just depending on how they're playing in the match.
She passed through again for another 5 points. It's 10 points on the jam. Couldn't have come at a better time for Wasatch. And right now we're getting stared down by Sassy the Sasquatch.
the Wasatch mascot, Sassy Sasquatch, has apparently made an appearance up here in Eugene.
Don't tell the local authorities. They may try to capture that one. 15 points so far on the jam for Skull Candy, and she does one more pass, and they gave her 5. That's 20 points on the jam for Skull Candy. And don't look now, 55 Wasatch, 58 Sacred City, with only 11 minutes left in the first half.
You told me not to look, so I'm not looking. I trust that you're telling me the right score here.
I cannot tell a lie.
So yeah, we do have Wasatch with 55, Sacred City 58. That lead just diminished with one jam. Just incredible how fast things can change in roller derby.
And we're just going to hit our computer real quick so it doesn't go to sleep on us again. It looks like we've got another jam going on. Colt 45 in the pack, but going to the box. I believe that's Moonraker.
That is Moonraker. Didn't catch the penalty there. Oh, it looks like a low block called on Moonraker. So reversal of the power jam, back-to-back jams here.
Colt 45 jumping around Vulgar Vixen, and it must have called off the jam. We've got a little bit of a flat angle here, and there's a lot of people standing between us and some of the action. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
I've noticed it.
Oh.
We have a vuvuzela going through puberty right now.
I'm going to guess we've got a couple hundred people that are here checking it out. So this action is definitely red hot. What a great way to end the first day of the Big O. 55 Wasatch, 58 Sacred City, 9:39 is all that's left. And it looks like on the line right now for Wasatch is Moonraker. And she is going to go head-to-head against the Forecloser, who has been pretty crazy so far tonight. In a good way.
Oh, of course. No, we've been having some great blocking, some great jamming by both teams. A very close game. Only 3 points separate these two teams. You're definitely seeing a high level of derby being played during this bout.
Forecloser sailing off, pulling that momentum down low, and then trying to find a hole to come back to. Just a really nice piece of controlled skating. She gets through, and she didn't pass one player, do an improper pass, so she picks up 4 on that one, Fragglepuss.
Picks up those 4 points. Her blockers electing to do that ever so popular passive offense and just kind of hang out in the back, let Forecloser kind of do the work, push those blockers forward and push them out of play. It's working as she's picked up 9 points in the jam.
Moonraker now looking to play some defense here. She is butt to chest with Forecloser as she tries to kind of eat that baby and then make her way into the pack, Fragglepuss.
That is definitely true. Kind of Moonraker waiting for a time to strike, just hang out in the back of the pack, sees the opening, takes it, makes that initial pass.
She's through. She's not the lead jammer. It's the infamous co-Rexer Seagull, not the lead jammer call there from our jam ref.
It's interesting how you'll see those different maneuvers from the refs. Sometimes you'll see the robotic arms, not lead jammer. Sometimes you'll see them taking flight. Everyone has their own style.
And what better sport than Derby, right? Everyone's got their own personal style. That's part of the fun, I think, is you get to bring that to the game, whatever your flair is. 55 Wasatch, 72 Sacred City, 7:43 left in this first half. Midnight Blue Tops, Wasatch, Gray, Sacred City.
Did you use a complete sentence right there at all? I mean, I get what you're saying here. It's great. Sacred City jamming. Wasatch jamming. Now, we have a Skull Candy jamming out there for Wasatch. Still working through that pack there.
And it's Daddy's Girl out there for Sacred City. She takes a hit, maybe two. Big collision in turn one. And no harm, no foul. She jumps back up and gets by. And that's a 4-point pass for Sacred City.
Skull Candy had broken through the pack. Did not catch back up to the pack on her scoring pass. 0 points for Wasatch in that jam.
Sometimes sentences are so clunky. I just like to use bullets at times, you know. 55 Wasatch, 76 Sacred City. It's been back and forth. Fierce competition out there. Some really strong walls. And the difference so far has been a couple of key power jam situations at Fragopus.
I think kind of the momentum swing that was most recent was that power jam that Harry Slaughter was involved in, where there was kind of that confusion, and Sacred City just really feasted on the commotion going on, and they've held the lead ever since.
Moonraker jumping out of the pack for lead jammer. And Colt 45 out there for Sacred City. She's still not made her initial pass, and it looks like a 5-point pass for Moonraker as she got through. Even strength, 5 points, not even easy to do.
Colt 45 now at the front of the pack, though, makes her way past Bruiser Eagle, that last line defense. Starts a scoring pass for Sacred City. Looks like Moonraker calling off the jam, picking up 3 points.
I think it is 3, yeah.
0 points for Sacred City on that jam. We have Wasatch with 63 points. Sacred City with 76. Have just over 5.5 minutes left in this first half.
And as you said, very competitive. Some momentum shifting back and forth throughout the first half of this one. Especially of note was the broken truck. I think it was like the broken truck gate.
Wow, 2 quick passes by our jammers. We have Buns Bunny jamming for Wasatch, and it looks like 4 Closer jamming for Sacred City.
Both of them trying to catch up to this very fast pack and trying to call off the jam hard.
Very quick indeed. Buns Bunny hits the pack, takes the inside, picks up 3 points, calls off the jam, leaves Sacred scoreless. So we have Wasatch down by 10 to Sacred City.
Buns Bunny almost dislocating her hips with the hard call off there of the jam. And come back, computer. There we go. 66 Wasatch, Sacred City 76. Less than 5 minutes left in this first half, and you really get the sense that if they can keep doing this for the full hour, it's going to be crazy.
It's crazy so far. We're 25 minutes into the bout. Only 10 points separate these two teams. You know, what's interesting there in that last jam, Buns Bunny the awareness was really good on where that Sacred City jammer was. It's important when you have, say, 10, 15, 20 feet is all in front of the other jammer. You're able to hit the back of the pack, pass a skater, maybe 2, pick up a couple points and call off that jam, getting that couple point advantage. It was very, very good by Wasatch.
Playing that point differential game for sure, especially in this sort of swinging back and forth kind of bout. You get the feeling that it could come back to the last couple of jams, and you're going to be wishing in the last 2 minutes they picked up 3 or 4 points in the first 10 minutes maybe of the bout. It's a little too late then, so you got to do it now. Carpe Derby.
See, we have an official review.
A second ago in the crowd, we had some wild stuff going on. Sassy the Sasquatch for Wasatch just leading a huge cheer off. And I think Sacred City might have some fans in the stands as well, because briefly we had a little bit of a battle of the fans going on, which I haven't really seen since high school, and there were guitars involved and stuff.
Oh, man. I remember those. So tomorrow we have Sacred City playing up against Victorian at 8:45 local time. Sunday we have Wasatch playing Victorian. So both these teams are going to play Victorian during the weekend, so those should be some exciting bouts. We also have Wasatch taking on someone tomorrow.
One of the things that I kind of heard about going into this tournament is all of the fundraising that had to go on to get these skaters out here. You think about just the flight for one person from Australia to the United States, you have to do that times 14 to 20 skaters. You're probably going to bring some coaches. You may have some other support staff. You almost need a private jet to get here. And you know, private jets aren't as cheap as they used to be, Fragglepuss.
Definitely not as cheap as they used to be. It's great to see Victorian coming out here from Australia. It'll be exciting to see them play tomorrow and on Sunday.
I'm very excited to see them play. It looks like we're back to the action. Number 53 is out there for Sacred City. That's Daddy's Girl.
We have Moonraker jamming for Wasatch, still working on that initial pass.
And just getting by a hair on the outside was Daddy's Girl. And now they're saying no, she was driven out of bounds. She's totally recycled. So Moonraker, maybe with some good position right now, as she's all the way out in front.
Yeah, Moonraker makes that initial pass. Daddy's Girl working on that first scoring pass. Kind of getting knocked around a bit, but picking up a full 4 points. 4 points. It looks like a last-second correction there. 4 points picked up by Sacred City. That brings their total up to 80 points to 66 for Wasatch. Just under 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Wasatch's Skady Gaga with that last-ditch shoulder into the midsection hit there to make sure that no additional points are picked up. No freebies tonight. Everyone is earning the points that they get. You're not seeing big open lanes on the inside or the outside. They have to get through the middle of that pack, and they're going to get a fistful of punishment to get out of there, Fragglepuss.
You're definitely seeing two teams playing out there that do not want to lose. Both teams want to win this game, and they're showing it. They're showing a lot of tenacity. They're getting knocked down, but they're just popping right back up. And look at that, Skull Candy jamming for Wasatch, lead jammer.
She did grab lead in a hurry, and it looks like number 45, Colt 45, right now for Sacred City, having a tough time getting out on her initial pass, taking a few bruising hits. The last for number 6, that's Skady Gaga playing some hard-nosed defense.
Now, sorry to talk over you there for a second. Sometimes you just... Oh, wow. Look at that. HP, after getting sent back about a half a lap on the track, Colt 45 win in front of Skady Gaga nonetheless. And it's a power jam for Wasatch.
5 points so far for Skull Candy. And Wasatch surging. We just had a lead change. If you're out there in listener land, you better take a drink of whatever your preferred special adult beverage is, because it's 80 Sacred City, 81 Wasatch, and you're getting every penny of what you paid for in DNN land right now.
You're definitely getting your money's worth here. What an incredible jam. I mean, that was some great blocking by Wasatch. Skady Gaga knocking out Colt 45, and then the whole team just scooting backwards.
Number 22 for Sacred City is Slapjack, and she just put the Slapjack right in the middle of Skull Candy, who jumped up and got back into the action. She's trying to do another pass right now. Sacred City all walled up in the front with that 3-wall.
And Wasatch, once again, much like many teams, electing to do kind of that passive offense, hang out in the back, let Skull Candy push those Sacred blockers out front. And Skull Candy picks up a couple more points. It looks like 3 more points.
And it looks like brings it to Sacred City 80, Wasatch 88, and we're inside of a minute and a half. Both teams with 3 timeouts. You may think about that a little bit as we get close to the end of this first half. Does someone want to grab an extra jam? Does someone want to take a breather and kind of set up for a little bit of a momentum shift here?
Well, as we mentioned, the momentum shift has been huge, and the most recent momentum shift in favor of Wasatch is they've picked up a bunch of points, and they are now having that 8-point lead.
Skady Gaga for Wasatch. I know it's early, but first half she's getting my star out there for defensive blocking for the Midnight Terror as she once again drives the jammer all the way back. Colt 45 is going to see Skady Gaga in her dreams and not, more like her nightmares tonight.
I was going to say, she wouldn't be seeing him in her dreams if that were me. Melanie Pfister with some impressive hits. It's a second hit, knocking her. Is that Colt 45 out there knocking her back? Moonraker, lead jammer for Wasatch, a 5-point scoring pass there.
And a hop over the apex for Moonraker as she grabs a full 5 points.
You know, we're going into halftime here, 13 seconds left on the time clock, and Wasatch is going into the half, as it looks now, with just the momentum in their favor.
Moonraker with back-to-back 5-point passes. Colt 45 trying to play some defense, jammer on jammer. Moonraker says, no, I'm going through for the 5, calling off the jam, and let's see if they give her any last points. So 10. That brings our score at the half. Sacred City, 80 in the gray tops. Midnight Terror, blue for Wasatch, 103. And we are on a 15-minute halftime, Fragglepuss.
I'd just like to give a shout-out to those Wasatch blockers holding back Sacred City in that last jam. However, it's been a great back-and-forth match here. Both teams with great jammers, great blockers, just back and forth. A lot of lead changes. It's been a great match. I'm excited for the second half, HP.
And I guess we'll be right back for it in about 14 minutes.
Go over there to that beer garden, drink some of those Limpazzies, and hey, brain cells killed.
If these mics are any indication.
Who wants to win stuff? Yeah. We're talking about raffles. We're discussing raffles. I think we're drawing.
All right, so the prizes you will receive, you pick them up at the raffle table. We'll do our raffle drawing right now. For those of you participating in the raffle, please pull out your raffle tickets now.
Get your raffle tickets out and please bring them to me. I will hold them for you.
Do not bring this to Hiddo Honey. She cannot be trusted. I know this from experience. All right, I've shaken this up. Would you like to pull the winning number?
Yes, what are they winning on this one? Lavelle Vineyards wine tasting. Did I say that correctly? Sure, why not? So this is for the wine tasting. Do you want me to say the name or call out the number? All right, the number is for the wine tasting 526072. And it looks like the winner is Amanda. 526072. Do they have to be present to win? No, they do not. So if you're Amanda, go to track 3. Is that correct? And claim your prize. Do you want this?
All right. And then next, it looks like a 16 tons membership and Dickie Joss gift card.
Ooh. And the winner is, for the membership and gift card, the ticket number is 526056. Oh, shoot. I'm not joking. I didn't rig this. Amanda, you're the winner again. 526056.
Amanda's one of them.
These are actually, they all say Amanda. This is not a joke. This is rigged. Don't trust them.
All right, if you want to know how to win a raffle, talk to Amanda. She will instruct you the ways of winning raffles.
She obviously is just a good sport.
What is Amanda's last name, by the way?
I don't know, Lane? It looked like Lane. It was hard to see.
Talking.
Her last name was Amanda Hiddle. I mean, it was kind of weird.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Weird.
I guess I'll be seeing you at the vineyard a little bit later, huh?
Yeah, in the fitness club, or probably not.
16 tons.
Assista Suicide is her derby name, as fans around here know her.
I like how the Derby staff instantly knows who Amanda is. They hear raffle winner Amanda, like, oh, we know who that is. That's Assista Suicide. She wins all the raffles we have.
Wait a second, I recognize those ticket numbers.
We quit doing raffles just because of Amanda.
Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and talk for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to take a break.
All right, take a break. I'll see you back in 10 minutes and 43 seconds.
You'll probably see me back here actually in about 12 minutes. Good luck.
3 minutes left in halftime, and I suddenly feel much more irresponsible than I felt before.
Uh-oh. Did somebody have the official drink of the Big O?
And no official drinking, but it was just the fact that you beat me back from halftime. All of a sudden I thought, wow,
Yeah, that's pretty bad sign.
maybe I'm not the responsible one in the announcing group.
Well, I sure am not, so how did you spend your halftime, your time away?
Those records have been sealed.
Oh.
They may be unlocked tonight at the after party.
Well, quite the opposite for me. I kind of broke the seal, so.
You broke the seal.
Broke the seal.
Well, I'll cover if you've got one. Now, once that seal breaks, you may be gone every couple
Yeah.
minutes. So,
Like, hey, longer timeouts. Please.
well, we'll throw something on the track just to give yourself a little bit of break there.
Not against that.
So it looks like they're finishing up equipment checks as we get ready for this second half to begin. Just a quick recap. Wasatch is leading 103-80. For a long time there in that first period, it looked like Sacred had complete control over this bout. And then Wasatch just stormed ahead right there at the end. And I believe, I'm trying to think, I think at one point it was like 55-80. Maybe not quite 80, but Wasatch made a big run there.
Sure.
You're like, I'll take it.
Yep, that's what happens.
You're the best one.
All right, solid means good. So, Fragglepuss, it looks like we're just about back from break.
Sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
Yeah, the solid light means people can hear us, at least I think. For those of you just joining us, we're finishing up at the halftime, so second half, 30 more minutes of Derby left. In the blue, we have Wasatch Roller Derby from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Great types are Sacred City, and it was a battle in the first half. We were 80 Sacred City, 103 Wasatch, and it was back and forth. You could feel the momentum shift, as we kind of talked about before. We had a really weird trucker gate.
So I found out it was the plate. Harry Slaughter's plate cracked. Like, there's a crack, it broke in half, in essence. So that was the malfunction with the skate. Looks like starting off the second half, we have Moonraker jamming for Wasatch, a lead jammer.
And she's out there against number 44, and that's the forecloser for Sacred City, who was pretty much juggernaut first half. She made her way through the pack. And that's a pass right there for Moonraker. And it looks like Forecloser thinks that she brought a couple points as well. So good hustle at the end there. You got to wait for all the whistles, and if you put it on the turbo at just the right time, sometimes you can sneak some points in.
It's definitely a way to sneak some points in.
I think we might be sleeping over here. It looks like we're having a little computer malfunction, perhaps. The mice are out of cheese. All right, it looks like as we get back to the action, 53 is Daddy's Girl for Sacred City, and she has grabbed lead jammer. Sacred trailing right now, so an opportunity to maybe pick up some points for the gray top Sacred City.
Looks like both jammers getting knocked to the outside and getting sent to the back of the pack. Oh, Buns Bunny jamming for Wasatch, cutting the track, getting sent to the penalty box. That's going to leave Sacred City with a power jam.
Daddy's Girl gets a pass, and that's 5 points as she makes her way around the track. It looks like Wasatch opting to run that three-wall. Pretty passive initially offense for Sacred City, but then they sweep out kind of that sneaky late passive-aggressive offense.
Exactly. And Daddy's Girl picking up 5 more points, calling off the jam. So Wasatch now ahead by 15, but Sacred City kind of starting off this half with the momentum. We've discussed the momentum going back and forth, and right now it's in favor of Sacred City.
That's exactly right. Sacred City making a run here, and both teams have had an opportunity to pull away, but then they seem to get sucked right back in. I feel like this is destined to be down to the last few jams the way it's going, Fragglepuss.
Definitely been an exciting bout so far. We still have Buns Bunny, jammer for Wasatch, in the penalty box to start this jam.
Forecloser driven out of bounds by that Wasatch blockers, and they recycle her all the way into the back of the pack, which is exactly what you want to do in a power jam situation, and not easy to do against the forecloser.
It's definitely been the name of the game for blockers on both teams, knocking the jammer out and then doing that backwards bridging so that they have to go back 10, 20, 30 feet just to come back into play.
Forecloser is lead jammer on the track, and I don't know if she's aware or not, but she's got some company out there. Looks like she was, because you can see her slip through and then try to make sure that gate got closed after she got through the blockers.
That is definitely the case. Buns Bunny jamming for Wasatch back out there on the track and completes her initial pass.
Clearly not the lead jammer, and Forecloser on the far side of the track. And she's going to play a little defense, but slipping by is Buns Bunny. And how about that 180? I thought only Tony Hawk could do that, Fragglepuss.
180, it's a great move. Turn around, do it again, 360. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. Now Wasatch with two blockers in the penalty box. Sacred City with one blocker in the penalty box, so Sacred City with one blocker advantage, which can make all the difference.
And it looks like we've got number 451 out there, and that is Shock in Auburn. And I don't believe we've seen her yet this evening.
At least not at the jam line, at least.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. I should be a little more specific when I say things, huh?
Don't confuse me like that.
All right.
You're freaking me out, man.
92 is Sacred City, 108 is Wasatch. And we've got about 25-44. Sassy the Sasquatch absolutely driving the Wasatch fans insane.
Yeah, this Wasatch crowd definitely comes out in full force. We have kind of the brother league to Wasatch. Uinta Madness Roller Derby, who's also playing in this tournament against the men's teams. And so there's fans for each of those teams, and there's just the Uinta team in general that's cheering on Wasatch. So, yeah, they're kind of rabid fans out there.
The rumor is that Treasure Valley will sometimes root for Wasatch when you're not going head-to-head as well, and Treasure Valley's definitely in the house, and so is Capital City, the men's team, the MRDA team from Boise. So there's quite a few potential fans for y'all to pull from this evening, and it's making it kind of loud.
Definitely gets kind of loud and rowdy in here, HP.
Looks like we're trying to work some stuff out. Both teams with all full complement of timeouts, so official timeout right now. We talked a little bit about what's on tap tomorrow. I don't think we got a chance to talk about this one yet. This one looks kind of interesting to me. It's Puget Sound, the Outcasts, at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, assuming that everyone's gotten a good night's sleep, depending on how late everyone stays out tonight. MRDA, it's Southern Discomfort, all the way from the UK, taking on Puget Sound at 10 a.m. on track 3. And that sounds like a little bit of chaos in a bottle.
Yeah, it should be a pretty exciting bout. Southern Discomfort. They played Deep Valley earlier today.
They played earlier today. Also, Southern Discomfort, it was Rolling Thunder from Southern Discomfort that sang God Save the Queen for the opening ceremony, as we had the Canadian, U.S., and UK represented on the anthem, so that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was good to hear. Looks like a penalty will be removed against Melanie Pfister, 333 for Wasatch. It looks like it was a failure to reform call that was placed on her, but it was called when the pack had already been reformed, and so the penalty's reversed, and Melanie Pfister will not be serving the time. It's not often you see that, HP. They're proud refs.
They usually stick by their calls, so they must have had a pretty good feeling about the fact that maybe justice wasn't served on that one. That undoing, we're back to the action now, and it looks like Shock and Auburn is out there with lead jammer, number 451 for Sacred City. First time out, lead jammer, not too shabby, Fragglepuss.
Very impressive jamming by Sacred City. Moonraker jamming for Wasatch has made the initial pass. And what do we have here? It looks like 2 points. 2 points scored by Sacred City in that pass.
And
man, what a nail biter.
Co-Rexer signaling that there was a potential for a third person to be passed, but it was an improper pass, so the point was not awarded. A really good catch by the official crew. And so far this weekend, I've actually been impressed with the officiating in general, not only from our non-skating officials, but obviously from our strong zebra pack that's been in attendance as well.
There definitely is a lot of experienced zebras out there this weekend. It's been great to see them. It's good to see good derby. It's good to see derby reffed well, the whole shebang.
And number 53 out first, Daddy's Girl calling off the jam.
Looks like she didn't want to do that afterwards. She kind of placed her hands to the hips about 3 times, and then looks like she tried to take it back, but it was too late. The jam was called off, and 0 points scored by each team.
I'm pretty sure what happens in that situation is the jam ref says no backsies. And so then I think you have to just kind of carry on with calling off the jam.
Hey, you got to commit. Looks like we have Skull Candy out there jamming for Wasatch.
And it's number 44, that's the forecloser. And she is on the line for Sacred City. Skull Candy with 1 to beat.
Oh!
And she gets by on 1 skate, or does she? She's knocked out. Comes back in. She needed to recycle herself and didn't. She got a cutting the track major. Great defensive block there by Sacred City. And Forecloser is the only jammer on the track for this power jam.
That was definitely some great blocking by Sacred City. Skull Candy toeing the line. It looked like just even a single wheel that went out, but that's enough to give you a cut track.
And it was so close that from where we're sitting, it could have gone either way on that call. But Forecloser is the only skater out there right now with a star in her helmet. She takes a big chest bump.
Jeez, a lot of chest bumps there.
She may need some Band-Aids tomorrow, maybe a big bottle of aspirin.
Yeah, something. Looks like she makes her way through. That is a grand slam. 5 more points on the board for Sacred City. This lead is just diminishing. Sacred City now only down by 4 points. A single pass.
The Forecloser trying to set up this jam. There's no room on the inside. She looks on the outside, swinging back and forth. You can tell that she's looking for that hole like a lioness looks for that weak antelope.
Looking for the weakness, looking for the right time to strike, the right place to strike. And HP, we have another lead change. Sacred City now up by a point.
108-109, a 1-point bout. Are you kidding me? Forecloser still on the offensive. She's trying to make her way through the last 2 defenders. 1 to beat. She jukes to the outside and picks up a 4-point pass.
Skull Candy also on a scoring pass picks up 4 points. Looks like they traded off a 4-for-4 pass on that one.
And we'll see what the non-skating officials tell us at the end of the jam. They're probably catching up points a little bit here. It looks like we're fixed at 1 point, though. 112, Wasatch. 113, Sacred City. Blue, Wasatch. Gray, Sacred City. 1 point. Crazy.
It's a 1 point game here. Just when one team starts to kind of break ahead, get a 20, 30 point lead, the other league is just coming back and even just retaking the lead and getting their own, usually their own 20, 30 point lead. As it stands now, Sacred City with a single point advantage.
Moonraker out of the pack first, an opportunity for Wasatch to retake this lead. She got recycled and called off the jam before.
It looks like she She almost passed that single skater in the back that would have given her 2 points, since Sacred has one skater in the box. Would have given Wasatch the lead, but she had already partially gone out of bounds. You don't give those points if you don't pass those hips.
Once again, in case you're tuning in late, we have a very well-matched bout here. It's number 20 Wasatch against number 27 Sacred City. Or is it the reverse? I believe that's correct. I believe it's Sacred City 27 for the WFTDA. And so far, it's been top billing of the day. The battle has gone back and forth. 1 point between the two teams right now, and fighting her way through that last line of defense, number 53 for Sacred City is Daddy's Girl. And it looks like Skull Candy headed to the box for a minute.
Looks like for cutting the track. So yes, we have a power jam in favor of Sacred City. The jam being called off after a really rough hit there by Colonel Skirts from Wasatch. Schultz lifted her up and just pushed him out with her shoulder.
And I'm sure that right now the thinking is from Daddy's Girl, let's take advantage of the fact that we've got this full power jam, or most of it, reset, and try to shake off that last hit that rattled a few of my molars out.
Yeah, both teams out there playing very physical. Great game of derby. I don't think there's been a lead of more than 20 to 30 points throughout this entire bout. It's just been neck and neck, just kind of blow for blow going back and forth.
Sacred City calling on number 44. That's the four-closer. She grabs lead jammer for Sacred City. This is a power jam situation, an opportunity for Sacred City to put some space between themselves and Wasatch. I'm pretty sure the forecloser is in real estate. What do you think?
That would be a good guess. Oh, but would you look at that? Forecloser cut the track, and she's going to be sent to the penalty box. Last jam, it was Skull Candy who cut the track. This jam, trading off. Another cutting the track. It's one of those penalties. You get it, and it's just like, oh, I really wish I hadn't got cutting the track. Because usually you can see exactly who you cut, and you hate to see it happen.
And to be fair, if you are flying down the straightaway and a blocker plays possum on you and bumps you at just the right moment, there's no coming back from that on the out of bounds. Right now, Skull Candy, the only jammer on the track for Wasatch. She's trying to work through. She might be 5'1"
and 3/4.
But she plays 6'2". She's trying to work her way through that last line of defense, and she does for a 5-point pass. And don't look now, but we've got a lead change, a lead change?
Tie.
We'll call
they
it a
were
tie.
down by 5, picked up 5 points. At least unofficially, it is a tie, but Skull Candy, in the time it takes to say that, she's skated around the track, she's back up to the pack and through the pack, picks up another 5 points, and Wasatch has taken the lead.
Skull Candy almost touching the ground with her entire body as she snaked through on the inside for that last 5-point pass. I'm pretty sure her bones are made out of rubber.
There's definitely something going on there. Skull Candy, 0 points on that pass as it was the end of the jam, but Wasatch has retaken the lead. Another lead change, HP.
If I wasn't sitting here watching it with you, Fragglepuss, I would say, no way. I would say horse feathers. That's what I would say, Fragglepuss.
Poppycock.
We're going to pull out all the bad language.
We have a timeout called by Sacred City.
First timeout of the evening. 121 Sacred City, 127 Wasatch, 16:58 in this second and final period of play. This will be the last bout of the night for the first day of the Big O. And right now, the Wasatch fans going absolutely Sasquatch.
Going bonkers out there. Thanks to Sassy Sasquatch. Now, tomorrow, Wasatch Roller Derby, the team in blue here, they will be going up against Arizona at 2:15 local time. And then Sunday, they will be playing up against Victorian at 5:45 local time. Sacred City, the team in gray, tomorrow will be playing at 8:45 local time. They'll be going up against Victorian.
plenty of bouts left this weekend. So we've got MRDA action, we've got juniors, and of course we have a lot of WFTDA action. Looks like you found another one you were looking for there. Terminal versus Sacred City at 12:15, and that is on Sunday. So that'll be a good one to stay tuned for as well, as Terminal has quite the program up in Vancouver.
That is correct. We have Colt 45, lead jammer for Sacred City. Moonraker sent to the penalty box for cutting the track. Seems to be the penalty of choice for the jammers in the second half, HP.
Colt 45 has spent some time in the box for that very thing, but right now she powers through the last line of defense. That was Colonel Skirts. Chest to chest they were briefly, and through, but she calls it off with 1 point. One skinny little point.
One tiny point separates these two teams. I feel kind of like a broken record saying that 1, 2, maybe 3 points separate these teams. It's just going back and forth. It's such a great game.
Dang it, why do you two teams have to make it so close? It's just making us angry here.
I'm going to have no nails by the end of this weekend. These bouts have all been so close. It's been so great to see these teams playing.
126 Sacred City, 127 Wasatch, 15:50 left. We said before, but it's gray, Sacred City, blue, Wasatch.
Did you say Sacred City blue?
I thought I said gray.
Oh, I don't know.
I said one of those.
It's late. Yeah, forecloser, lead jammer for Sacred City. Moonraker jamming for Wasatch in the penalty box.
The forecloser eyeing the pack. She reverses her motion in order to try to set up the exact correct move, and she goes all the way around Colonel Skirts on the line for 5-point pass.
And that 5 points means that Sacred City is going to retake the lead. Wasatch enjoyed that little lead for a couple jams, but Sacred City is back on top.
Forecloser, the thing she's doing on her skates out there, I'm not even sure they're legal in this state. We may get her pulled over right after the bout by the state troopers for Agopoulos. I'm not wishing it on her, but it could happen.
You never know. We've seen some crazy stuff already here at the Big O. Earlier today I saw a car that was parked in some bushes. It was weird.
All right, so Wasatch 127, Sacred City 133. I'm going to use announcer math and say that's a 6-point bout right now with 14:28 remaining. And now the Sacred fans starting to make some noise.
Looks like the caffeine's kicking in. They're coming alive.
It's 10 o'clock here on the West Coast, Pacific Standard Time, and grabbing lead jammer is Skull Candy for Wasatch.
Sacred City's blockers just going to the penalty box in droves. 3 of them off the track, only 1 blocker left on the track. Oh!
Daddy's girl forced into a cutting the track major.
Once again, that cutting the track is killing these jammers, especially the second half.
I think that was Pfister for Wasatch that forced it, and Skull Candy picking up a 5-point pass to give Wasatch a lead. 133 Sacred City, 137 Wasatch. But stay tuned, just wait a minute, it could change.
Jeez, and Skull Candy once again with those rubber jelly bones gets to where she's about 2 feet off the ground. Jumps the apex, another 5-point pass. She leaves the track with 0 points, gets back on the track, 5 points on the board. Wow.
Crazy. Skull Candy trying to get through. She gets some help from her friends and past the last line of defense. Almost sweeping her out is Vulgar Vixen, but she somehow gets her backside out of the way for another 5-point pass.
Now HP, at the start of this jam, Sacred City had the lead. Skull Candy picks up 30 points, I'm hearing, on this jam. 30 points.
That is more points than you and I have scored combined all day, Fragglepuss.
This whole year. Wow.
We're on a little bit of a dry run here.
Definitely on a dry run. What an incredible jam there by Skull Candy. I think we saw about every move in the book there on every pass. That was incredible. We have Moonraker jamming for Wasatch.
And it's number 45 for Sacred City. That is Colt 45. But getting out first is Moonraker for lead jammer. The clock's winding down to about 12 minutes left in this one.
Colt 45 completing that initial pass. Now HP, I saw these two teams at the West Region playoffs. They both played up against a common foe, which was Angel City. Wasatch lost to Angel City by, I want to say, 10 points. Sacred City beat Angel City by, I believe, a single point. So I've been really excited to see this matchup as all these teams are somewhat equally matched here. And this bout has just been really incredible. It's been great to see the athleticism and just the talent of these two teams.
Some of these jammers are crazy. They're nuts. I don't know what they're doing out there.
I don't know what they're on.
It's a combination of David Copperfield and I don't know what, but we've got 133 Sacred, 161 Wasatch. On the line right now for Sacred City's number 44, and that is, of course, the 4 closer who's just been burning it up. But right now, it looks like we got Skull Candy. She grabs lead jammer for Wasatch.
And looks like her jam ref, Rock, taking some of her moves as he was kind of hopping around too, you know? You see, you imitate.
4 closer, driven out of bounds by Skady Gaga for Wasatch. She has been in the thick of it all night long. Skull Candy picking up a 5-point pass. It's pandemonium in here, Fragglepuss.
It's definitely getting loud in here. Definitely a lot of fans watching. This is a great derby match to be at. I'm glad I'm here. But for those of you at home, I'm glad you're watching. Hopefully you're enjoying this as much as we are, because I am just having a heck of a time.
That's right, you made Fragglepuss said heck. Skull Candy trying to get through the last couple of defenders right now for Sacred City. She's got 2 to beat. They keep beating on her. They think they're going to take her out or lay her down, but every time she bounces back, just like one of those bouncy balls.
4 closer completing her initial pass. Skull Candy calling off the jam. Yeah, picks up 5 more points on that pass. Wasatch now 171 to Sacred City 133. Wasatch is taking charge these last couple jams.
We talked about it in the opening, but earlier this year, the Dust Devil tournament being won by Sacred City. They did suffer a loss earlier in the year to Angel City, who you mentioned before. So a little up and down probably start to the year for Sacred City, but they are here to play tonight.
Oh, what is this? What is going on? It looks like Shock and Auburn, jammer for Sacred City, going to the penalty box.
And it looks like Annie Ankle Biter for Sacred City going to the box and getting through a lead jammer for Wasatch.
Yeah, Moonraker lead jammer for Wasatch. Somewhat of a confusing jam here. A lot of things being called, a lot of hands being thrown around by the officials, the referees. But yeah, long story short, Moonraker's lead jammer for Wasatch. Shock and Auburn, jammer for Sacred City in the penalty box currently.
Moonraker just taking some hellacious hits as she threads her way through for a 5-point pass. And Wasatch, for the moment, pulling away a bit as we get down to 8:15. And we haven't really had any kind of point spread to speak of until right now.
Moonraker back in the pack. Sacred City with only 2 skaters out there on the track. Only
Slapjack putting the slap on the Moonraker.
I see what you did there.
And it looks like Moonraker not totally thrilled about perhaps the distance from the pack to where that contact was initiated. I'm not inside Moonraker's head, but there was some body language, maybe some gesturing. I'm just going to infer a little bit here, Fragglepuss.
Yeah, sometimes seeing the body language is enough to know what they're thinking. Or sometimes you hear it as they're coming off the side of the track and let out a few choice words.
Perhaps the occasional bomb being dropped on the side.
Buns Bunny jamming for Wasatch.
And she's out there against Daddy's Girl for Sacred City. She's got 2 to beat. And she is just keeping at it as she powers by Pfister. Not the lead jammer, though. The lead jammer is actually
Buns Bunny, lead jammer, calls off the jam just in time. 0 points for each team.
And it's so nice for the referees when the skaters will help them make calls. Right now, Volger Vixen, number 23 for Wasatch, just making some strong suggestions about maybe what the referees might wish to call. It's nice that she was there and available to help the referee crew.
Yes, if she were them, this is what she would be calling.
Right.
And we have Skull Candy, a very familiar face, out at the jam line for Wasatch.
Riot at you for the Treasure Valley Roller Girls, helping to lead the cheer for Wasatch right now. Sacred City grabbing lead jammer. Number 45 is Colt 45.
Yeah.
And Skull Candy, the second one out of that pack.
That is correct. Skull Candy, the second one out of the pack. You know, there's 6 minutes left on the time clock. Sacred City down by a couple points here. It's getting down to crunch time, HP.
Skady Gaga with the devastating hit on Colt 45. She made contact with both of her cheeks against the ground. Her skates went straight up in the air. It looks like she was trying to break dance. It was a bad or good hit, depending upon if you're pulling for the gray or the blue.
Yeah, depends which side you're looking for. Good, bad, ugly, etc.
Hey, look, the officials are getting more help. Right now, it looks like some of the coaches for Sacred City wanting to make sure that they have some good ideas about what they might want to keep in mind as this one develops.
Yeah, we have a full penalty box of blockers here. 2 blockers for each team in the penalty box. And of course, as I say that, they prove me wrong. 3 blockers now on the track for each team.
Forecloser taking a beating from that strong Wasatch defense and getting out first.
I felt that one back here. Colonel Skirts with an impressive hit.
Moonraker's your lead jammer. And another ginormous hit. Was that Skady Gaga?
That was a tough hit by Skady Gaga. Oh my gosh. She got clocked there, HP.
And it looks like we got a forearm major there. If that was any more unruly, I think we would have had a riot on the track. Just some ginormous shots being landed in turn 2. Reminded me of Fraser Ali. All right, no fists, but some huge hits landed by both teams.
Yeah, both teams being very physical out there on the track. Hard hits. They have resulted, at least currently, in Sacred City with a full penalty box, 2 blockers and the jammer. Wasatch with a full complement of the 4 blockers and their jammer on the track. But we have something being called.
So it looks like Sacred City 136, Wasatch 186 with 4:09 remaining. And really, if you're Sacred City, right now is the time to try to force that cut or try to trap a jammer. They really need to put some points up, and playing point differential is just not going to do it. They need to put up gobs of points.
Yeah, with just over 4 minutes left on the game clock here. Wasatch with that 50-point lead. Now it's kind of do or die at the crunch time. You got to hope for a power jam, really, or just some great blocking by your blockers if you're Sacred City, which, of course, is very possible. We've seen some very impressive blocking by Sacred City throughout the almost 56 minutes of playtime.
This is the time when you try to take some big gambles to get yourself back into the bout, which will do one of 2 things. You'll totally nail what you're trying to hit, in which case you might take a jammer down or force a cut, or you'll totally whiff or miss or not quite hit the way you wish to, and you end up with a low block or a high block. You get yourself in the box, and now you got a pack disadvantage, and things are just a little bit worse for your team. So you got to take the big gamble with so little time left, Fragglepuss.
Yeah, you got to do something big here. Down by 50 points, 4 minutes left. Now's the time. It's going to be somewhat difficult, at least starting out, since Wasatch, at least as it stands now, Wasatch would be starting with a power jam and a 2-blocker advantage.
we don't have any music right now for this one, but if I were to make a selection, I would say Eye of the Tiger would be appropriate right now for Sacred City as they try to get back on the street and get it real.
Or if we could be even more ironic, we could just go with a Don't Stop Believin'. That seems to be popular. Final Countdown, another popular song.
Some Journey, some Europe.
Yeah, just the usual, you know. No big deal.
Journey's had a few good songs. As a matter of fact, while we're at it, this would be a great time for a montage, a video montage, really is what an 80s style video montage. If we could just take advantage of this timeout, have Sacred City, maybe do a couple laps around, some jump rope, some push-ups, some planking, and then jump back in, go on the power jam, tie this sucker up, and let's take it down to the last jam and figure out which skater is going to be the last skater standing for Fragglepuss. That's what I position for you right now in this bout.
Sometimes you just need a montage. Thinking like a la Karate Kid, something like that. Of course, the original. Old Danny LaRusso. Old Pat Morita, you know, Mr. Miyagi. Wax on, wax off. Get some of that going on.
It's definitely that time. Team America put it all together, I think, very well in their very complicated movie about dolls and America. And if I remember correctly, there was a substantial montage in that movie as well.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a montage. Yeah, for those of you who've maybe joined us somewhat recently, we have Wasatch in the blue, Sacred City in the gray. Very close game this whole way. A lot of lead changes, gone back and forth. Been a great one to watch. A lot of great moves, a lot of very talented skaters out there on the track. They said this was going to be a good bout, and the skaters certainly have not disappointed me, at least.
Nor I. We're at 136 Sacred City, 186 Wasatch. Strong jamming from both teams. Skull Candy, Moonraker, Forecloser, Colt 45. We've had a lot of really strong jamming, and even when one of the normal jammers is out of rotation for a moment, whoever comes in is just a reload of what we've been seeing when the other beasts are on the track. And right now, we've got a fan who may be streaking. No, their clothes are on. Okay, their clothes are on. That's good.
Looks like we have Rock who's going to give us an update on this timeout.
Looks like we have an answer.
Maybe.
This is like the longest bout ever.
I'm not sure. It's either a Wasatch or Sacred City fan who is lapping on the inside. He is trying his gosh darndest to get a wave going. He's being met with mixed enthusiasm, but he is running his little legs off, and it's just cute as can be, Fragglepuss.
You know, it's a classic, that wave. Uh-oh. A lot of tenacity by that fan. Rabid fans out there.
He is on his third lap. Will he be stopped? Can anything stop the crazy fan for either Wasatch or Sacred City? I think the answer is no.
Or just roller derby in general, maybe.
Maybe he's just a derby fan. Maybe he's just a fan that's had too many beverages.
Never rule that out. We have Rock with the microphone out there on the track. We're looking for an update from him, but
I want to rock right now.
I want to rock.
I feel like we've revoked our score privileges.
Looks like the call will stand on gray, Sacred City, number 22. Gray number 22, it looks like that was her 7th trip to the penalty box. That's going to result in her being fouled out.
And Slapjack definitely brought the slap tonight. She ran into several skaters of the blue persuasion throughout the evening. She was serving up slapjacks all night long.
All night long. Yeah, that's the name that I've become very familiar with during this bout. It looks like we're back underway. Moonraker jamming for Wasatch, lead jammer. Once again, Only 2 Sacred City blockers out there on the track. Wasatch with the full 4 blockers and the jammer, more importantly, HP.
Moonraker trying to pick a spot. Sacred City not leaving a lot of room, but she gets through, slicing right through the middle for a 5-point pass for Wasatch, as the Midnight Terror have been on a tear these last 7 or 8 minutes, Fragglepuss.
Yeah, it's been some great jamming, some great blocking by Wasatch in the past couple minutes. Before these last couple minutes, it's been really hit and miss for each team. One team pulling ahead just a little bit, the other team pulling ahead just back and forth, neck and neck. But Wasatch pulling ahead just in the past couple minutes, which, as we all know, the most important time to be ahead is at the end.
That actually works in a lot of sports. Moonraker picking up a 15-point power jam there. We said coming in, WFTDA telling us that number 20 in the entire WFTDA kingdom is Wasatch. Number 27 is Sacred City, and it has been a battle to remember this evening as we get down to the last couple minutes. We've got 2:47 left in this one, and our score is 136 Sacred City in the gray tops, 201 Wasatch in the blue tops.
Now what's going on here, HP? Coming out of the penalty box. Yeah, coming out of the penalty box for closer. Back on the track, back on a tear for Sacred City.
All right, so 5-point pass for Skull Candy, extending that lead for Wasatch as they really look to put a punctuation on the end of this one.
Yeah, past couple minutes, it's kind of been all Wasatch. Yeah, final 2 minutes of this bout. Wasatch ahead by a couple, but this has been a really great game from both teams. Offense, defense from each side. The jamming's been great. And this is only day 1, HP. We still have 2 full days of Big O. Starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow, local time, of course. We'll have I-5 versus Kitsap. And we're going to take it from there. There's just so many bouts. Very excited to see all these.
If you want to see skating straight out of the United Kingdom, Southern Discomfort is here for the MRDA. If you want to see juniors, we've got I-5 here, we've got Emeralds juniors, we've got Lavas juniors, we've got Slaughters juniors. If you want to see how they play derby down under, we've got Victorian here for the WFTDA. Really, this is the only play. You can just put the channel in and then rip the knob off out there in DNN land, and just stay tuned right here all weekend long, Fragglepuss. All weekend long.
All weekend long. Friday, derby. Saturday, derby. And Sunday, 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 more derby. All right, I'm sorry, I'm done.
All right.
Both jammers through the pack almost simultaneously. Jam called off, 0 points by each team.
And our time is running down here. We've got 141 left in this one, and it looks like Sacred City 136, Wasatch 206 as time winds down. And really, it looks like we can safely say that Wasatch is going to emerge with a big victory on their first day of the tournament.
You know, it's a good way to start off the tournament. 3 days, 3 bouts, 1 each day. Good to start off with a win. But for Sacred City, you know, they may start off with a loss today, but they can bounce back tomorrow and Sunday, win 2 out of 3 for the weekend, which is still really good and very impressive. I'm sure both teams have learned a lot from this bout.
What an awesome opportunity to work on rankings with so many great teams in the house. Skull Candy out on her pass, and she gets helped out of bounds by the Sacred City defense, but jumps right back to her skates and keeps on flying through for a 4-point pass. Colt 45 working hard out there as well. Both jammers are going to take this down to the very last possible second.
Yeah, now, I'm not one to read minds, as we made painfully clear, but my guess is My guess is at this point, Skull Candy's just kind of running down the time clock for the second half. As soon as time runs out, she'll call the jam off. Just make sure there's not another jam since they have the lead and they want it to be over. They want to end with that lead.
And it looks like that's just about the end of play if they want it to be. We're on the jam clock now, so as many as 35 additional seconds should they choose to take that time.
And of course, as you say that, she puts her hands on her hips multiple times and calls off the jam. Of course, unofficially, we have a score. Wasatch in the blue with 214 points. Sacred City with 148. It is unofficial, but I believe we're good to call this one in favor of Wasatch, HP.
Just want to say that it's not only an exciting bout, but it was a personal thrill to get the call with you, Fragglepuss. Your combination of elegance and suave, good looks, just made this an incredible opportunity for me to end the night. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow, which is going to be another jam-packed day of incredible men's, juniors, and women's roller derby.
Yeah, it's been great calling with you, HP. I think I may have 1 out of 3 of those qualities, but it's been great calling with you. This has been a blast. I really appreciate just coming out here, having all this great derby, the Big O, Emerald City, just the whole works. This is great. I hope everyone will come back, tune back in tomorrow, early morning, to see more derby.
And congratulations to Sacred for putting up a good fight and a great bout. And making me lose my voice at the very beginning of the tournament. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sacred City. Really a bout that was kind of in question.
And that is it for the night. We will see you guys back on here at 9 a.m.
Good.
Tomorrow morning.
There we go. So we don't have the same mistake as last time. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hi there. I'm Megatron.
I'm Pitch It.
We're for the Derby Deeds podcast. We're here at the Big O. We are closing out our broadcast day. We want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching all day. We've got track 1, we've got track 2. We're going to be broadcasting everything on these all weekend long. Tomorrow morning, we're going to start bright and early, 9 a.m. Track 2, we've got Junior Derby. We've got I-5 from Seattle versus Kitsap. And, yeah.
Lots and lots and lots of derby. It's been a long day already, and we got 2 more days to do it. So you need to be by your computer and watching this event all weekend long.
It's pretty good. Don't forget, we've also got spring roll going on, so pay attention to that.
Yep.
We're going to be featuring a bunch of updates on our Facebook page. You can find the entire list of all of the different places where you can view both tracks on Facebook. The Big O Derby.
While I'm here this weekend, I've been getting all my score updates from the Twitter feed from DNN Scores. So if you're not on that, you should be. They send them right to you. It's like nothing.
Yeah, so lots of places to go on the internet to get your derby. We're glad that you're watching the Big O. Thank you very much. I'm Megatron.
I'm Pitch It.
We're for the Derby Deeds podcast, and this is the Big O.